chart, and I just kind of want to point out where we are at this point. So if you guys think about what we talked about a while back, we had these monthly candles, right? Where we're talking about this critical zone between December value area low, and then we had a lot of value area highs kind of stacked in this zone. If you guys remember this, we had something like this, right? But you can really treat it more in this area now. So we're still holding that zone. Why this zone is important, right? Is when you zoom out a little bit, right? Let's say if you turn on the candles and you put this here, you'll see that this zone here has been basically the split. It's been the split, and you can see the LVM on the VRVP here. And then you have potentially, a drop all the way to about 66, almost quadruple six, somewhere around here. You'd be looking for 666 would be the level, devil number. So somewhere around here would be the level that you're targeting if they lose this level up top, which is splitting the zone right now. So all the price action above, and then you have multiple levels here. When I say multiple levels, you have a lot of brackets in between. So you have a bracket that's somewhere around here, right? That one is kind of split with this LVN here, and then you have the penthouse. And you can see the January, right? January value area right here was where they tried to build value, and then they clearly rejected it, right? And that's where we are. We're on the bottom basically of the bracket right now. I would say this is not the spot to initiate a short, but rather watch if we get, initiative sellers to come in based on any news they might have. You want to see if they go below and then look for opportunities for retest. You do not want to be the one on initiating for now. Any questions? So if you think about, let me go here just on 4 hours so you guys can see. So here's your value so far. This is your January value right at the top. And you can see kind of what's happening with February. I mean, we talked about this. Remember last time when we talked about this level here, if you're to lose January value area low, we are targeting pretty much the bottom, and we are targeting that it's going to go clean the bottom here and potentially give us this kind of POC in between here, which is about 67, 63, the level that you were kind of watching to see if we get a bounce. So you see that you will have a little bit of a stacked zone here, right? But I'm just going to mark that 67, 63. I think this will be our POC sometimes of October or maybe even September. But this will be a pretty decent zone for a bounce. But ultimately, you're watching to see if they can go to the bottom of this zone. And even this value area low of 66.20 would be desirable. So here's what it looks like when you zoom out and catch the whole April run almost here. You see where the massive LVN is. It's really kind of like right here. This is, it's pretty wide, 58, about, 70 points. But this is a massive zone. And you could definitely make this. You can grab this value area low, this value area high. This could be your zone that you're watching as well. And that's where we kind of bounced from November. If they can hold this, you see these LVNs where they can slow down the price action and trade between these HVNs. But I would ultimately expect them to go to this devil's number here and then ultimately right here, 6623. But as of right now, they're holding it, right? And only earnings or any AI failures will probably trigger this. I do expect war news to pick up over the next 4 weeks. It's time for a distraction to come in. Can you guys hear me well?
Yep. So
Yes.
is it the 666 level specifically because that's the bottom of that multi-month
Yeah, this
value?
is just, that's exactly. It's a multi-node that we had selected. And it's the value area low of this area here. So basically, if you're to go, I don't know how much we got here, but let's go from here to here. Change this to 68 because it doesn't look like it is. You see right here. So it's coming down somewhere. This one is going to be about 67.35 on SIG 1. I really wouldn't include this month here because that was a breakout month. So it'd be something like this. So 67.86 to about 67.60. And then below that, I would target somewhere around here, 66, whatever that number is.
And the ultimate low is that yellow rectangle
Yeah,
because it's the
yeah.
very bottom of that.
Well, it's very bottom of that. If you know it's an untested low right here at 539. Wants to be like September value area low. This kind of split here with the value area high of August. So that gives you that little cushion where they can kind of look below and fail. So if they lose this, high odds that they're eventually going to grind it back here. And this is, if they're to lose this, it would be a little bit nasty price action. It would be, up and then quick sells. And then ultimately what we would look for is something like this, where they change the character around this level. They will sweep this at some point here.
And then is it typically messy trading in the LVNs?
It is because it's fast. Typically, LVNs are areas where they can look below or look above and fail, and they get a little nasty, right? And you see one, right where we are right now, you have one. It's like that 19 or 24 level that we had to 15, whatever, somewhere around here, something like this. We had that level, if you remember, it was a pretty big level. If they reclaim that, then you're trading in this zone and the final distribution at the top. Right now, we're just trading in here. So if you're to think about distributions, you have one here, you have two here. You can call this as one massive one, but you see that you have splits, like tiny one in between here. But I would honestly treat this as a massive area, right, with some shitty price action in between. You see it here, right? So if you pay attention to the left, you see that corresponds, all these little wicks correspond to these volumes here. And you see here, there's not a lot of price action, and it's corresponding to that. And here's this corresponding to that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. So on the monthly so far, we don't like January value, right? We are saying, hey, January value, no good. We're looking for value lower. They tried to reclaim the developing value here about 86. Not bad to be aware of this level. So if you want to put that down on your chart, you certainly can. And you'll see that December value area high and current developing value area lower basically matching here. So what was once treated as value area high now is being treated as value area low. Is that bullish or bearish?
Bullish.
Bullish.
Yeah, it's bullish as long as we reclaim it. Right. So if they can reclaim this level here, I would expect them to have some fireworks, right? This would be a pretty decent level to watch tomorrow, right? Hey, can we reclaim this? And this is just monthly analysis, right? So when you go on the weekly, and weekly has a lot. I'll hide the candle so you guys can see it, but weekly has a lot of cool setups. Delete this. What is weekly telling you? So you have 1, 2, 3, basically 4 weeks. What?
4-week bracket.
Clearly overlapping, right? So, and then from the zone perspective, is there anything you can do here to identify? So this week had a double distribution, right? And had a double distribution trend up or down.
Trend down.
Yeah. So you open here, you close, you open below the close, you facilitated the trade higher, you had the poor highs, you failed to kind of get above it, right? So there's some exhaustion going on. And then you have a nice distribution up top, really elongated distribution. Then you have some nice single prints here, and then of course bottom distribution, and you still closed within last week's range and within last week's value area low. So what is the weekly telling you?
Trading in a bracket.
If were the bears present, other time frame bears, were they present at the lows?
Yes.
Yeah, they're testing the lows.
Here it seems like we got some, let's say on the weekly, you have some access here on the bottom. You came here and it seems like people are pretty eager to get it. So this is telling you, based on other time frame participants, they came here and they snatched it up, right? And then you have single prints. So what will be your single prints area that you're watching to see if they can reclaim?
See if they get back in that upper distribution above 69.24.
Yeah, that's ideally that's what you want them to be above here, right? Now, is there anything else interesting on the weekly to you guys?
The volume?
Okay. Go through progressions from this profile to this profile. What happened to value area high in the last week compared to this week? It shifted.
Yes.
So the value area high shifted, which is bullish, right? And the value area high was at the tippy top, which is also bullish. And then the POC shifted upwards as well. And then, of course, you see the value area low shifted as well. And then we rejected all of these prices and we closed on the bottom of the last week's value. So they clearly rejected this, right? They did not want to trade in the upper half, right? And you have the two halfbacks that are basically identical. It's sitting here. So if we were to go into the zone here, I would expect that we get some sellers at 909 and 924 would be pretty important level, right? So what they could do here tomorrow, let's say we decide to have a little short cover rally. I'm not sure where we are honestly right now, but let's say they do something like this. They get in and then they basically go above here and they lose this level here. What should be your play here?
We'll
Short
go
it for a
short.
discount.
They're
Sure.
at 68, 65.
At this point here, you don't do anything. Just want to see who will go for it. You would want them to go below 98.5. Why is that?
Because of the single print.
No, we want them to be rejected up here. We don't want them to build value in this LVN now where they don't like trading. We want them to get rejected and then we take a short from here.
Mm.
Taking a short here is you guessing, right? Unless you're using order flow and you're able to see maybe on Quant Tower, there is a selling imbalance somewhere present, right? You want to see where the delta is, where the orders came in, and that would give you a lot of clues, right, on where you can take it. But a safer play is they get in, they lose this 98, and then you take a short and you can target probably what? Now, this is a trick question again, but let's see what you guys think.
The POC.
Below this, right? You don't have
Yeah,
to
the
be-
2025 POC.
Yeah, you could definitely go for 2025 POC. From other time frame levels, that's good. You also have the weekly unfair low, which is fresh at 32.5. Those will be the levels that you can go with. I can also merge these, right? Look at now. This is just a nasty looking profile. You can't even make anything out of it. Has like a distribution up top, somewhere around here. 50 is really bad. You can then merge it again and again.
It looks like they're just trying to get rid of everything they can up here.
Yeah, they're offloading as much as they can. They spend a lot of time here and then they flush it down. They spend a lot of time here and then they flush it down. Which is basically telling you there's a lot of responsive activity happening at the top, right? They're really offloading here. Because if you have this P shape here and you're clearly rejecting now, this section here, that's going to be bad, right? Especially if they lose this green zone that we're in now, that would be deadly. And this is just I would say, a nasty P, right? I mean, in terms of price action, it's not like they they rejected this value here. We've spent some time here before you see it. Look at the volume, right? You have a nice distribution here. You have a nice distribution, skinny belly distribution, and then a bunch of really bad LVNs here on the bottom. So they've spent some time here, and they're spending volume as I would say, as we reach new highs, right? And you can pick up, right? Just look at the daily volume compared to the buys, right, at the top. As we reach the highs, look at the pickup in volume every time. Like even here at the highs here, they're picking up volume here, and this was a nice pickup now. Now they're trying to defend this. Let me see, where are we after hours? So they're going for it, guys. They're gonna push for this 89. They're gonna push for it tonight.
Are the markets open tomorrow?
I believe so, yeah.
Till 11 a.m. Central.
1 p.m. I believe. Let's see. Yeah, one. Monday, US stock markets are closed. Trailers are, so it seems like till 1. The markets are closed. The futures. One p.m. Yeah. So might be a slow day, but I think they're gonna try to push this overnight. So does it make sense on a weekly kind of what happened? We are just a 2-week bracket with higher lows and higher highs on value. I would not be surprised that they attempt to push through this tonight, or at least to here tonight. It'd be ideal if they can. So where would you guys look for shorts again? So would you take a tap here short at this level?
Yeah, short at the weekly single prints.
The top one.
Yeah, 98.
This one you take first step, especially if they somehow, I'm not saying they can't. I made a mistake a month ago. I said they won't, and they did some stupid stuff. So if they open above this and lose it, that's just a gift. They're giving you money, right? So keep an eye on it, right? And even if they come, let's say Tuesday to this level, that'll be a pretty good short. I anticipate we'll have some sellers show up at this level. Daily should be interesting.
Would you enter right as they lose it, or would you wait for a retest?
No, I wouldn't, as they lose it. Because you'll have some highs left behind or something you can reference, right? Kind of what the day gives you in terms of info, but pretty sure I'd go for it. All right. Well, Thursday was pretty crazy day, right? So they started a little bit here. Price action, C period, started selling off. Europe continued. And then you created kind of like a double distribution, but really liquidation profile. So from Thursday, right? So this is where your weekly single prints are. This is where your high was as well. That's from Thursday. They came in, they tapped it, and they rejected it. There's a little bit of exhaustion here. I was targeting that they're going to go to 15 this day. Thought they're going to try to push and kind of go at least here to the half back, but it seems like they got tired. Now, if you look here, this is your spike from Thursday, right? I would just keep it on for now and see how they dance around this level. Because this day here was your liquidation profile. This is where they're liquidating all the longs, right? They're just selling it down. And they attempted to do one more push now. And if they can't, let's say that they tried, then you know that this was a trap. And now you see we closed below it. So we just said that we were over it, maybe. Just over that spike from Thursday. So that'll be really interesting to see if they can push this to 98, 89 to 98 overnight. I think it's doable. I think that's
With-
really, really doable.
Would a short at 98 be good too?
You can, but they already had a poor high here. I wouldn't be surprised if they just get more aggressive here to push through. I'm pretty sure if they clear 89, they're going to clean up 98. They're probably going to go to 909. I would not be certain 90% of the time they'll clean this up. So I wouldn't necessarily take a short here in the first touch. Maybe look above and fail. That would be good, but not on the first half.
What about the weekly halfback? Obviously, the
I would
top.
watch for the traps there, right? I would watch to see, as they come here. This was also the Thursday value area high. As you come here, yeah, this would be a pretty good level that you take on the first half, because then they could trap all these guys. They get in the market buy and then quickly maybe give you something like here, which should be good, 30 points. You could definitely take this, but I would watch order flow as you arrive on this level here. I would watch to see if there's any guys sitting on the right side, right, on the bid, on the ask, I'm sorry, offering you that. You could definitely want it, but my ideal setup would be here, take this on a single tap.
Makes sense.
And if they're over, let's say they hold this Thursday spike, that means that they're rejecting this last push by the market, and then we found other time frame participants here. Oops, I always forget to press escape. So if you take a look here, what is the market telling you here?
They found an opportunity, advantageous price down there.
Yeah. So if you look at the periods, right? I just want to show you guys, especially in New York. So if you take a look at this, your A period went an auction all the way to the bottom, right? And they basically recovered it. They came back and they pushed it back, and then you see the C period went up. They tried to hold the value above, right? And then they lost the IBH. So typically when you lose that IBH, it's not uncommon to go all the way to IBL as well. But let's say they hold a spike tomorrow. I would say if they hold a spike where they try to do one more push of this value down, they hold this, I honestly don't see a reason why they can't go here and clean up this poor high from here. It's multiples, right? As long as they hold this, I think you target 90 and 98 cleanup. 90 and 98 cleanup. Any questions on ES?
I have a question about entries in general, because I've been struggling with either entering on a first tap or waiting for a look above and fail or waiting for a break and a retest. And I don't know.
Well, I
which
mean,
one.
you have to think about scenarios and where you are, right? You have to have a little bit of more context. So let's say tomorrow, we're trading, we open here, which is probably what's going to happen. And you go above here, and then you lose this level of 98. Well, any pushback against the price action, you should take a short here. If you take the short here, then you can target somewhere around here, right? And then a POC right here. So your reward would be pretty good, right? You would have more than 3-to-1 trade here, and you're rejecting. Let's say they go above and they reject it. Well, maybe you won't get a perfect retest here. You're just looking for maybe on the 3 minutes a lower high and a rejection, and then you're taking that lower. It would
So
be
the-
different scenarios in terms of what market's given you, right? I mean, if there was no single prints here and this was just price action, you could come up with a much different scenario where it's a first retest. Let's say that this was single prints right here, not as wide, and they come here on the first tap. I'll take that on the first tap, no matter what. This would be my short.
Just because they're coming up to a level where they sent
Yeah.
it down, right?
Yeah,
Aggressively.
exactly. And here, between 924 and 98, that's 26 points of single prints. Those aggressive sellers could be pretty much anywhere. Like, right, if it was somewhere about, 913 to 924, could you take it on the bottom tap? Yeah. We already tapped this, right? We already tapped that, and that was kind of crowded high, right? Crowded high means that most likely they're going to come and fix this. I would be shocked if it's tomorrow. So then you go above here, reject here, and get back inside this value here. Then what does it tell you, right? You go above, you go here, and then you're just looking wherever that POC is, you can find it easy. So let's say you want to be really, really sure, then you wait for this to be lost, and you're another 12 points away. To see, make sure that you don't get something like this. You could go below this and drive it all to the bottom. It depends how much appetite you have for risk. But usually, pay attention to the way I look at the entries. They got in above the value. They didn't like the value. They're inside the prior value. And let's say 3 5-minute candles are in, and they're not getting clear auction higher out of that value. Then you can take a short, right? And then you have some reference points to see for your stop loss, right? Because they went above, they failed. Now they're inside. Spend some time inside. They're not rejecting it. I would just seek whether price is being accepted or rejected wherever you're going from. Or willing to trade, take a trade out.
So you just got to let it cook a little bit before you decide.
Well, you want to see the value be accepted or rejected, but on a single prints here, it's a different story. It's a different setup. If they come here, I will take this on the first tap. I'm not going to let it cook. If they go above here, right, and then let's say that POC was somewhere around here, 84. Well, they can do a little bounce here. But let's say you have a 5-minute that looked like the chart looked like this, and then the bounce comes all the way up here, makes a higher high, changes the character. I'll be worried, right? I don't want to see too much change of a character as you're getting an area right inside here. I don't want to see you changing behavior right at the top, because that typically means that you want to go back up. I want to see you kind of continue to break the structure, make, let's say, lower highs, lower lows, and you're continuing lower. And especially if you're spending, let's say, 3 5-minute candles, or if you want to be more or less risk averse, 3 15-minute candles inside that value, that's good. Because otherwise, typically when somebody reaches a good point to buy, you don't see slow price action. You see somebody get in and it just bounce, right? So if they come here, you want to see a quick response if you're a bull to get out of it to continue higher. If you come in here and they're dragging here and they're not able to peak above, that's a pretty good sign that you're going to go lower. It means you're just accepting the prior value.
Gotcha. I'm getting it a little bit,
You'll get
but
it.
more than I did
I
10 minutes
believe you
ago.
on LeBron. Believe in you. I would say this is going to be the 98.5 is going to be a pretty trappy level tomorrow. And then, you look at the price action here, not bad to anchor sometimes, like a VWAP here and see what kind of shows up there. The 2025 VWAP is all the way somewhere around here, 6,400. So it has long ways to go if they want to find demand of 2025. It's sitting at 6,430. So pretty far away in terms of auction, how far they have to get. Did you guys notice that there was news by Trump and actually market didn't respond to it about tariffs in China? You guys see that? He said that they're going to pause the tariffs for China for a year, right? Typically, when he posted, if he posted those news about maybe a year back, what would have happened? Or let's say 6 months back, I don't know. Tariffs or story started.
They'd freak out.
Oh, the market will have some crazy candles, right?
All-time
They would
highs,
go
yeah.
nuts. They would just go nuts. But now the market's what? They're ignoring him. And that means the market has priced that in already. So I wouldn't be surprised if they reclaim this level here, the spike level, which they're attempting right now. and rejecting this VWAP here. If they can hold this level, we will push from here another 30 points. I would just keep an eye right now overnight. If they do give you a chance to get in, and look at these candles. This is disgusting. Look at this here.
That looks fun.
Yeah, that looks fun. So you see how they got back inside now. They went above. So many people got excited. They're going back. This is definitely, I would not take a risk long here, right? This is not a risk long. Where would you take a long here, LeBron?
Like a break and retest of the top of those two candles.
It has to make a higher high here. So then it would be a higher low as well. And this one would be higher low. They wouldn't put a new lower low. So if they can crack this, they will most likely continue. But what's most likely to happen here? Does anyone have a clue?
Go down to the bottom of that orange rectangle.
Most likely going to go to the bottom. And if they give you an opportunity to go along here and to target this right here, that's a pretty good setup. So the way you play this one is, do you go long on the first tap here? Careful how you answer.
No.
No. The answer is no. What do you want to see when this happens?
You want to see it break the bottom. Just like how you drew it, right?
No, I want to see something in between here. You want to see time being inside this, so you know you're back in the orange. As soon as you notice something here, like let's say you come in and there's a lower low here or somewhere around, you reclaim. As long as you reclaim this level and you spend time with it, it's much easier to take a trade at 61. Not that this is a big 4 points, right? Not massive range where it's like do or die, but let's say you take a trade here, then I don't think you're going to be in a trade for 4 points. You would target somewhere at the top, then you could manage this trade really, really nicely, right? If they give you this opportunity, they got to get back inside this value, even though it's 4 points. They're going to give it to you, I promise. Before we call the night, they're going to come back here. They're going to give you that. Then you're looking to reclaim this tiny lower range and then go along, because this would be called spring. This is spring. This is called creek now at the top. So now you're just trying to see who's going to win here. And you see that they opened, right? Where was it? 6 o'clock, somewhere around here. They auctioned all the way to 38, right? Unfair low was 6 points away. Another thing you could do is go from here to here and see, this is a high volume node, but a lot of volume was sitting at that 50, 2025 POC. So let's say this doesn't happen. You don't get a reclaim, so you don't get a long. Where would you look for a long here?
When there's a
This
change.
doesn't. Let them come to this area right here, this zone. This would be a decent long overnight too. You have two setups that you would play. If they go below here and reclaim, you go along here. If they don't reclaim this and they continue, then you're gonna go along here. This would be a decent long in this zone here. But I think they're gonna give you guys a setup before probably 11 o'clock. If you guys are gonna be awake. All right. Well, that's it for me tonight. I'll be on tomorrow. Trade and see what we can do on Friday. Actually, I am going overseas, going for 5 days or 6 days to India. One of my friends is getting married. So I'm going to attend an Indian wedding for, I believe, 3 days of ceremonies. I'll be
Yeah, you said they're long, aren't they?
flight is 26 hours. So
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited. But yeah, I'll be on till Friday, and then I'll take off. I'm gonna bring my laptop, but probably I don't know time zone how long it's gonna take me to settle in. I'm only there for 7 days, so we'll see.
That'll be
Hope you have a
awesome.
good time.
Thank
Safe
you.
travels.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
Thanks,
thank you
Shorty.
guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thank you.
Thank you.